This is Look West, a podcast from California's Assembly Democrats. Hi, I'm Emily Weber, and this is Look West. There's a bunch of new faces in the Assembly Democratic Caucus this year. We tracked them down while they were in Sacramento for their freshman orientation. Joining me in this effort to meet the new Assembly members was producer Don Andrews. Hi, Don.
Hi, Emily.
What did you think about all the new members of the caucus?
Well, I got to tell you, the first thing I noticed is there's a lot of them. It was fun to see them coming into the Capitol filled with such enthusiasm. We were talking to them during the orientation, as you mentioned, which was just a couple days after the elections, and so they were still riding this adrenaline rush from their victories. And they clearly were all very pumped to get started. What did you notice about them?
I really liked hearing their personal stories about why they went into politics. Some were born and raised in communities that they now represent, and they're really proud of their hometowns, while others had grandparents or parents who introduced them to advocacy and public service. And all of the parents talked about wanting to make California a better place for their children and the families of their districts.
Well, let's meet a few of them.
Let's start with Mark Gonzalez. Don, you caught up with him near the Rotunda right after their official welcome to the Assembly.
Welcome to the State Assembly. The Look West listeners would love to know a little bit about you. What's your name? Where's home?
Sure, Mark Gonzalez. My home is in the heart of Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, representing the 54th Assembly District. This past November 2nd, I just now completed 15 years with the state legislature. I've worked every single level that we have here, from caseworker to field rep to senior field rep, and spent the last 10 years as a district director to this area. So I've been representing the area that I've worked in for the last 14 years. And so it's important for me to hit the ground running because I already know this area block by block, the needs and the uniquenesses that make up this community.
Tell us about some of the unique things in your district and maybe a favorite restaurant?
Sure. Well, the restaurants are hard because the cultures and the communities that we represent, if you're ready, it's Pico Union MacArthur Park, it's Koreatown, Little Bangladesh, Historic Filipino Town, Chinatown, Lincoln Heights, Historic State Park, Pasito Vera, Union Station, Downtown LA, Little Tokyo, Boyle Heights, Arts District, City of Vernon, City of Commerce, and City of Montebello. Massive.
Wow. Wow. So you have every favorite food.
Every favorite food, yes. You know it, from pupusas to tacos to Korean barbecue to sushi. I mean, you name it, we got it.
You're coming with a good background and you're prepped, ready to go to work here. What will be the top priorities for you as an Assembly member?
Look, the major issues in this particular district prior to redistricting was the second poorest district in the state. This district has 80% renters. I'm a renter myself, and that's massive. And rental assistance during COVID was especially something that was needed and something that exposed the fact that this community still needs the support in utilities as well. So for me, the top three items are issues of housing, affordable housing, issues of homelessness, and of course the issues of public safety.
Have you met Assemblymember Matt Haney?
I have, yes.
The chair of the Renters Caucus.
Yeah, I've hung out with Mr. Haney a few times. Great guy.
I'm assuming you'll be joining the Renters Caucus.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Los Angeles is that epicenter of that movement.
Yes.
And Matt is from Northern California, probably a Giants fan, but the reality is that I'm Los Angeles, I'm a Dodgers fan, and we really need somebody to carry out the mission that Matt Haney has created on behalf of the renters in this area. People want to be able to stay in the homes that they grew up in rent-stabilized units and so forth, but they also want to have dignity. They also want to have that respect. And I think for us it's important to carry legislation to keep people off the streets, and part of that is protecting our renters.
Well, as Mark mentioned just a moment ago there, he is from Southern California. Emily, the first person you caught up with was from Northern California.
Yeah, I talked with Rhodesia Ransom, who represents the Central Valley city of Stockton, while she was waiting to get one of her official portraits taken. What inspired you to run for the Assembly, and what is something that you're really passionate about legislative-wise, if you have an issue area that seems close to home for you?
Yeah, I was inspired by the service aspect of being able to be in a position to make people's lives for the better. I grew up working in the community my entire life, and so I've had so many opportunities to be able to serve in whether it's appointed office, elected office, and really make a difference, even if it's for one person that really changes their lives or saves their lives. I think it's really important, and so that was part of my inspiration, is just seeing the public service aspect of being in the state assembly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you said that you have been in the service industry or just service work throughout your career. Can you tell us a little bit about something that's been memorable for you throughout your career?
Absolutely. I had the pleasure, I've served on the city council for the city of Tracy, and being able to move very important issues forward, bringing the first affordable housing project to our community in over 50 years was a big deal that I was very excited to participate in. I also was a founder of a nonprofit 20 years ago that continues to provide free public services in schools, mental health services for students, mentorship programs on the campuses. So, service is life, being able to really touch the community in ways that you can't do it, at a 9-to-5s are great, but you want to be able to just make it part of your life. Service is part of life.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So with that, do you have any sort of legislative priorities that you're hoping to now bring to California through the state assembly?
I can wrap it all up in one word, which is sustainability, right? I spent all 50 of my years have been spent in California. My husband and I have 3 adult kids, and it's really hard to keep the promise that we make to our kids, which is if you go to school, do a good job, and be a good human, and you can, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's not the same as it used to be. You can't afford, to live on your own anymore, even with 2 or 3 college degrees. And we really need to slow down this affordability train for Californians. And so I'm excited to work on issues that deal with pocketbook issues, as well as making sure that we improve our education. And then we also have in my district a huge transportation issue with over 100,000 folks traveling out of town for work and sitting in traffic for hours, which really impacts their quality of life and time with their families. So those are things that come to mind for me.
Well, thank you so much. I think that this was very informative. It was great to get to talk to you, and we're happy. I'm sure our Look West listeners will love to get to know you a little bit.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Based on that resume, this new assembly member sounds like she's ready to go.
Sure does.
Dawn, you spoke with 2 new members representing connecting districts in Southern California.
Yeah, I talked with a couple of dads from Burbank and Pasadena, Nick Schultz and John Harabedian. I talked with Nick in the studio where he was getting his portraits taken, so it was nice and quiet in there, not like in the hallway for some of our other interviews. Tell us a little bit about you. Who's at home? Do you have pets, family? What can you tell us about you?
So I got an incredible wife, Allie, and 2 amazing kids, Aiden, age 2, and then Ella, our daughter, who's age 3.5, turning 4 in April. And on top of all that, we got 2 cats, Liam and Lily.
Wow, it sounds like a nice home to be hanging out in.
It's busy.
What about the district itself? You have a favorite spot, a restaurant?
Oh my gosh, I do. I have too many to count, but I would say if you're coming down to Burbank for whatever the reason, you got to go to the Granville on San Fernando. It's got the best mac and cheese in the world, and I'm a big comfort food guy.
Let's talk a little bit about what you did down there before you came up here. You were assistant district attorney, I believe?
Oh, close. So I work at the California Department of Justice. I'm a deputy attorney general under AG Rob Bonta. I was in a special prosecution section that was devoted to combating organized crime, public corruption, human trafficking, environmental crimes. And then outside of all of that, since 2020, I've served on the Burbank City Council, most recently as mayor.
Sounds like this has been something you've been tracking towards for most of your life. Have you always wanted to be in politics?
I have always wanted to be a public servant. Truth be told, this is not something I was planning for until Assemblymember Friedman called me and said, hey, I'm running for Congress and you should think about running for my seat. It was not something that I necessarily saw myself doing now, but when my community needed me, I wanted to throw my hat in the ring, and Lord knows there's enough good work we have to do.
There is. What are going to be the top priorities for Assemblymember Schultz?
Well, housing is going to be first and foremost for our district. I mean, in Burbank alone, for example, we have a 3-to-1 jobs to housing ratio. Jobs rich and not nearly enough housing. That's why you're seeing average home sale prices of $1.4 million. I mean, that's just beyond reach for the working people of my district. So adding more infill housing to our community, that's a top priority. Tackling homelessness. In my community, we've seen 3 consecutive years declines in our unhoused population. And I think that there's more that the state can do there as well. And then public safety, given my background. I think we have to ensure that people feel safe in their community, and there's more that we can do to have a more fair and equitable justice system, too.
And why is it that these are important to you? Is this something that comes from your upbringing, or is this something that, because of your work in the Department of Justice, you decided that this was another way to serve the public?
My story starts in La Mesa, California. I was raised by a single mom. I was the first person in my family to go to college. We dealt with housing insecurity and food instability at a young age. So when I talk about investing in people and adding housing and looking at good job growth and addressing food insecurity, creating good jobs, investing in public education, I care about those things because that was very much my story. That's the only reason that I'm here. And I want every kid in California to achieve whatever they want to do.
So welcome to the Assembly once again. Do you know where your office is yet?
Not yet, and I'm still trying to find the bathroom.
Pasadena's John Harabedian was coming up the stairs into the second floor rotunda when I caught up with him. Tell us a little bit about your home. What's it like where you live?
So I was born and raised in Sierra Madre and now raise my 3 kids, 3 boys under the age of 10. I live in West Pasadena. It's a beautiful community. And, right now our communities are facing the same struggles that the rest of the state are, shortage of housing, homelessness, public safety, looking for solutions across the board on education, healthcare. And so looking forward to getting up in Sacramento and working on all those issues.
3 boys under 10. That must be quite a household. Little raucous, perhaps?
Very raucous. It's the fountain of youth that ages you very rapidly at the same time. So my wife and I have our hands full, and this is going to be a fun journey having, them be a part of it.
Everybody likes to know a little something unique about each individual new member that comes into the state capitol here. What's your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert? Wow. I'm going to go cheesecake. But I'm not a big dessert guy, so the more savory desserts are my pick.
Tell me, do you have a favorite restaurant or a place in your district?
Houston's restaurant is great. My wife and I love to sneak away and get there whenever we can, and it's fantastic.
What are the top priorities for our new Assembly member?
Generally speaking, helping working families. I think that everything that families like mine are dealing with, which is, rising costs of housing, of goods, trying to get kids in and out of an education system that becomes a little bit less attainable every day, making sure that we have health care that is accessible and affordable, and making sure long-term we're saving this planet for folks like my kids. And so those are going to be my priorities up here, and working every day to hopefully get some solutions.
Now, you've been here for all of a handful of hours. Do you know where your office is?
I don't. I actually don't even know where I am right now. Is this the Capitol? No, in all seriousness, I really don't know anything in terms of the specifics of where I'll be, but it'll be a fun journey.
While some of the new members were recording new content for their social media channels, I spoke with Dr. LaShae Sharp-Collins. The Look West listeners want to know just a little bit about you as a person. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what brought you to California State Assembly, what inspired you to run for this office?
Well, what brought me to the State Assembly has to do with my overall community. Being born and raised within the 79th Assembly District, I truly know and understand, the hard-fought battles that a lot of our constituents have actually gone through. Mm-hmm. And so having already worked in this office as a district director for our current Secretary of State when she was a member, that gave me first-hand insight even more so in regards to the different types of changes that folks can make once you seek higher office. And so I wanted to make sure that my community continue to be heard, continue to be valued, and continue to be respected across the board, and know that they will always have a seat at the table moving forward and not be marginalized.
It sounds like, obviously, with your extensive experience in the 79th District, you probably have a good feel for what the district needs and what they want. What kind of priorities do you hope to bring to the State Assembly that are a voice for a District 79?
Of course. Well, for me, I am an education specialist, and so education is always going to be a top priority. We still continue to struggle with making sure that we have quality schools within every neighborhood, regardless of zip codes. So I want to make sure that we definitely continue to deliver true accountability and transparency. But housing has been a big issue throughout the entire state. And so making sure that we have truly affordable housing, and making sure that programs are going to be put in place to promote generational wealth. And that's something that's important for all of our constituents, especially those that are coming up. And so not only is it going to be that, but environmental justice, that is important. I have asthma. My daughter has a medical condition as well. So making sure that we can also have quality of life within our neighborhoods and breathing not only outside air, but inside the homes with methane gas and other things that are there as well. And let's see, there's so many different issue areas. Being a woman, we like to touch on everything.
Yeah.
So trying to break it down to your top 5 or top 3 is kind of difficult, but primarily it's education, housing and homelessness, and environmental justice, and health, so looking at the reproductive rights of our women in
Yeah.
the LGBT community.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to seeing all that you do here in the State Assembly. When you're not up here and when you're not in Sacramento, what is your favorite hobbies that you have back at home?
Well, I do love to cook. Definitely love to cook.
Okay.
So if anyone would like to take me on for a challenge and have a cook-off, a smoke-off as far as briskets and all of that, I'm down for it.
Love it.
Definitely, I love sports. I am a football fan, and
Okay.
I know some people y'all might hate on me, but I love the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
And I coach softball, and I have coached basketball as well. But just pretty much being active and spending time with my 2 children.
Okay.
So those are the things that are really important to me, and that's what I love to do. I'm a soccer mom.
I really enjoyed my conversation with Dr. Sharp-Collins. She was really insightful, and I just had a great time. Dawn, who else did you talk with?
Well, San Fernando lost a mayor when Celeste Rodriguez won the race for the 43rd District. The Look West listeners would love to know a little bit about you. Tell us who you are and where's home.
I am Celeste Rodriguez. Home is the Northeast San Fernando Valley, which I am now going to be representing. I live in the city of San Fernando, where I currently serve as mayor.
Tell me a little bit about your home life. Are you kids, pets?
Yes, I have a wonderful husband and 2 children. My son is 9, and my daughter just turned 5 last weekend, and we have a dog. Her name is Luna.
Tell us what's your favorite spots, favorite park, favorite restaurant? What's fun about your neighborhood?
Oh, well, I'm a mom, right? So I just do everything that my children want to do. They have a favorite park. They have a favorite restaurant. You'll usually find me in a coffee shop. My favorite is called Bo Debbie. It is actually 3 local residents got together and bought it so that it wouldn't be sold to someone else and change. So it was a community asset that was maintained by people who got together to make sure it happened. So I love supporting especially that small local business and all of the local businesses in our community.
Can you tell us a little bit about what is going to be your main focus, top priorities for you as an assembly member?
Well, as I ran the campaign, I'm replacing Luz Rivas, who announced very late that she would be running for Congress, which she has now successfully transitioned to, or she's about
congrats.
to.
Yay.
Yes, and so throughout the campaign, I was later than most of the folks that are here, but I got this opportunity to have coffees in homes and community meetings and talk about what was most important to them, and consistently education, the environment, economic justice issues, and housing came up. And these are the things I want to focus on because they're the priorities of my district. But honestly, with the results of the presidential election, I think a lot of us, especially in Assembly Dems, are refocusing just to ensure that we're protecting our state and all of our communities from any potential negative impacts.
Does that feel like a bit of an overwhelming chore, trying to protect Californians, your district, your constituents specifically, from what appears to be a dark cloud over Washington?
We feel ready. I think the fact that we've come together, we all know why we took on this moment of service. And of course, there is more gravity to it. I think a lot of us were excited about the things we were going to be able to push forward had the election turned out a different way. But we all feel a distinct responsibility for the communities that have elected us to serve. And so I think we're all just rolling up our sleeves, ready to defend us.
Another Northern California representative, Anamarie Avila Farias from the East Bay city of Martinez, she was waiting patiently for that next orientation session, one of many that they had to go to begin, when I got a chance to talk with her. Everybody likes to know a little something about the people that are sitting in these chairs, making rules and regulations and all of that. Can you tell us a little bit, if you don't mind, about your home?
Yeah, so I was raised in Martinez, which is the county seat of Contra Costa County. I'm a 3rd-generation Contra Costa County resident. My grandfather immigrated to this country under the Bracero program, and I was the first in my family to go into politics and the first Latina to be elected to the Martinez City Council.
Can you tell me whether or not you have favorite hobbies or a favorite restaurant in the district?
Yes, well, one thing I love to do with my family is to travel. And I feel that traveling not only broadens your horizons, it's such an educational, free education that I can take my children on to learn about other cultures, religions, and everything that comes with travel. So I love traveling and exploring. Second to that, I'm a foodie. I enjoy trying different foods because that comes with traveling as well. And I like to row.
Like a boat?
No, stationary rowing, but I hope now to upgrade to eventually waterway rowing. But that is my wellness that I engage in and do it daily, and now trying to figure out how that's going to fit into the state legislature of governing and continuing, my healthy habits of rowing daily.
What are going to be the top priorities for you when you come through the doors and get sworn in on December 2nd, I believe?
Well, I've spent 30 years of my professional career in affordable housing and economic development, and so clearly that's my comfort space of bringing 30 years of experience to that space that's so critical in the state of California. So housing would be a number one priority to use those transferable skills at the state legislature. Secondly, education. I'm a mother raising 2 teenagers, and education's very important to me. Those will be my top priorities. I have more, but you got to take it slowly here.
Yeah, and only so many things that can be done in a day, especially with 2 teenagers at home. Boy, a girl, both?
I have a 16-year-old son and a 14-year-old daughter.
That is a chore all by itself, isn't it?
Yes, but if anybody's up for the challenge at the state legislature, it's a mother.
Well, that's the first batch from the 2025 freshman class of the Assembly Democratic Caucus. We'll meet more of them in the next 2 episodes of Look West coming soon. Thanks to all of the members, thanks to producer Don Andrews, and thank you for listening. I'm Emily Weber, and this has been Look West.
The Look West podcast is produced by the DCO Pod Squad for the California Assembly Democrats. Please like, subscribe, and share this episode. When you think of Californian politics, remember to look west.